Greece is only at the beginning of a long, hard road to recovery, and the recent Troika report also stresses that the private sector must make a large contribution to helping Greece cope with its debts.
Let's take you live now to Brussels, where that meeting is due to get underway later. Al Jazeera's Jonah Hull is there. Jonah, to what extent will that vote in Berlin impact upon the meeting that's due to get underway there in Brussels later?
Well, potentially, Adrian, a great deal, particularly if the Parliament there, the Bundestag in Berlin, do not give Angela Merkel a green light. But that's seen as pretty unlikely. It's more likely that she will get approval from Parliament, that she'll be able to come here to Brussels armed with that, a constraint imposed on the German Chancellor only in the last few months or so, and that she'll be able then to convince her Eurozone and EU colleagues who'll be gathering here later tonight of the need and the mechanism to strengthen the bailout fund. Interestingly, what Angela Merkel said to her Parliament there was illustrative of the real sense of urgency now that she feels, and that she will very much hope that the other leaders feel. She said the fundamental weaknesses of monetary union must either be addressed now or never. She said if we fail to seize the opportunities the crisis presents us, then we will have failed. Now, that is not just a message to the German Parliament, that is very strongly a message to her colleagues here in Europe as well.
A sense of urgency then, Jonah. The stakes are pretty high for this meeting, but even before it's begun, there are doubts that the leaders are going to be able to reach any comprehensive agreement.
Well, I think it's pretty fundamentally clear now that they will not reach an agreement in the form that many people had hoped and waited for here on Wednesday. Finance ministers who were meant to be here meeting, talking about the details of a final plan, didn't turn up. They were told not to. There wasn't sufficient agreement for them to work on. The leaders will be coming. I think the best hope now is that the leaders will be able to announce by the end of what is likely to be a long night in Brussels a political consensus, an action plan, a strategy around which the whole thing can coalesce in the days and weeks ahead as the numbers are actually worked out. That'll be a plan to recapitalise the banks, a plan to encourage the banks to take major haircuts or losses on the loans that they've lent to Greece, and fundamentally a plan to leverage up the size of the bailout fund, the EFSF, as it currently stands, by 4, perhaps 5 times, giving it some $2 trillion or more of firepower, particularly to deal not just with Greece, but around the corner now, big problems brewing in Italy, and a bailout of Italy would dwarf anything that has come before.
Jonah, for the moment, many thanks. Jonah Hull in Brussels.